Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Chris Martinez, host of Operation Agency Freedom, and this is my big return. I do apologize for being off the air for a few months. Lots of big changes going on in my life. Very happy about them all. I'll talk about that in a second. But what you guys care about is this week's episode. And what I'm going to talk about today, we're about a month and a half into 2022. If you're on my email list, you've heard me talk about this already, but there are massive changes coming to the digital agency space in 2022. Maybe you're already feeling them. What I'm going to talk about today are the things that are going to help you to survive in 2022. It's a very important topic. If you are experiencing slowdowns in the number of leads that you're getting, if your close rates aren't where they used to be, if you're having a hard time retaining staff, all of those things are normal. They're things that we have predicted over the past 6 months. So what I want to share with you guys today are what are the specific things that you need to work on in your agency so that you can get through 2022 and not only survive, but so that you can thrive. And here's the secret. The things that got you or that helped you to be successful up through 2021, they're not going to work anymore. There's a lot of massive changes that you need to make within the business and most likely within yourself. So we're going to talk about all of that today on this episode. And at the end of the episode, make sure that you visit our website, dudeagency.io. We've got all kinds of great new things that we're sharing with you. And of course, you can find this episode in the show notes, and then anything that I reference will be in there as well. And if you enjoy this episode, make sure that you subscribe so that you are always the first to know when a new episode is released. So with that being said, let's head over and let's get into the episode. All right, guys, thanks for joining me again. I feel like I haven't been on the air, the reality is I don't think I've been on the air since around early October, which happens to be right around when I got married. So I'm very excited to announce that. If you didn't hear already, I got married to Oyuki, who heads up our finance and also oversees our HR. So she and I got married October 9th in Rosarito Beach, Mexico. It was an awesome wedding, one of the greatest days of my life. We had so much fun. And I guess now we are a family-owned business, which is kind of cool. And then since then, of course, we went on a honeymoon. We went to New York City, probably the best time in history to go to New York City because there was nobody there. The tourism was just starting to come back. Broadway had been open for like a week. So it was like a ghost town in New York City, which was great. It was also much more affordable. So that was awesome. And then we wrapped up 2021. What a crazy year that was. One of the most interesting parts was that for most digital agencies and most people who work with agencies, July of 2021 was the slowest month that we've ever seen. And I think it was partly because people were finally able to go out. The vaccine was rolling out. Lots of cities were kind of like, quote unquote, opening up and everybody just stopped working. It was really, really strange. And as we move into 2022, we are seeing that many things are starting to return back to normal, but there are many things that are changing. And so what I want to talk about today are the changes that we have been forecasting or anticipating that are coming to our industry, to the digital agency space, changes that are occurring in 2022. And more specifically, I want to make sure that you are aware of what it's going to take to build and maintain a super successful agency in 2022. What I like to say is that 2022 is the first year where we are officially in digital agency version 2.0. And let me explain what that means. So, marketing agencies, digital marketing agencies really started, in my opinion, like on a bigger scale in the early 2010s. And personally, I started my agency in 2012. There were a lot of agencies, but not anywhere near where the number that we've had, up around 2020 and I would say even into 2021. 2020 was like the moment when COVID hit and all these marketing agencies that really didn't have a business, those people went out of business very, very quickly. And then so that kind of thinned out the herd. Prior to 2020, there's an agency on every corner. Like literally, like people were just watching a YouTube video and be like, I have a marketing agency. And they didn't know what the fuck they were doing. That hurt our industry big. So COVID, from a marketing agency standpoint, it was actually beneficial because it got rid of the people who didn't know what they were doing. That's the tail end of digital agency version 1.0. And one of the hallmarks of version 1.0 is that you could essentially build a business and generate good revenue and decent income for yourself just by being a good ads person, just by being able to build pretty websites, just by being able to do decent lead generation, creating good copy, right? You could be an average practitioner and a bad business owner and still develop a living for yourself. You're not making a ton of money, but you're also not on welfare. Version 2.0, which starts this year, the seeds have been, planted a year ago, but version 2.0 of the web digital agency space starts this year. Version 2.0, you not only have to get great results for your clients, but you have to be amazing at actually running the business. This is something that everybody needs to understand. You really need to start wearing that CEO hat. You need to understand your numbers. You need to have good margins. You need to be able to make good decisions based on the numbers. And it's crazy because most other industries, you run a successful business by understanding how to run the business. Yes, you have to be able to, if you're a lawyer, you have to be good at practicing the law. If you run a medical spa, you have to be able to give good treatments, right? Like all that stuff, it's just par for the course. If you don't have that basic level of being able to deliver for your customers, you go out of business fast. What separates good from great is understanding the business, right? Perfect example. I have a great friend of mine. His name's Michael Scott. Shout out to the office. He's a chiropractor. He's a very, very talented chiropractor, but this dude knows how to run a business. I mean, just crushing it in terms of revenue and income, runs a very, very profitable business. That's what separated him. It's the same with our industry now. Like you can be a very good practitioner. You have to deliver great results for the clients, but that's not going to guarantee that you survive and thrive in 2022. You have to get really good at running the business. I never went to business school. Literally, I've never taken a college level business course. I kind of want to just to see what the heck they're teaching, but I don't have that education, right? So I've kind of had to figure it out on my own. Of course, I had some amazing mentors that have helped me out through the years. So I'm going to share with you, I'm essentially give you a crash course in some big, big things that you need to master as soon as humanly possible. And of course, if you have any questions about this specifically, shoot me a message. I'll be happy to help you out. We are going to be running some more courses and webinars and things like that. So jump on those, listen to more podcasts of me, of course. But here are some essential things that you need to recognize, okay? You have to understand your gross margin. So what is your gross margin? It's essentially what you pay to get your deliverables created. So if you sell a project for $20,000, you must be tracking the hours of the staff that's doing the work so that you can say, okay, the client gave me 20,000 and I ended up spending 7,000 on labor by the time that was completely off our plate and out the door. You have to be doing that. You don't just do it on a big picture scale, right? You don't want to just look at, these are all the projects, this is all the revenue, and then this is how much we spent in labor. And so our gross margin was X. You need to get very granular. You need to look at every single client and determine to the penny what you spent to serve that client to get that project done. You have to do this. If you don't do this now, you are doing yourself a huge disservice, and it's going to be very hard for you to survive the rest of the year. It's not fun. It sucks. If you're not a spreadsheet person like me, this is not fun. Go out and find yourself a spreadsheet person. Go out and find yourself somebody, a bookkeeper who can do this work for you. It's an investment in the future of your business. Now, fortunately for me, my wife does that. So if you're so inclined, you can go out and you can marry one. But worst case scenario, there's lots of services out there where you can have somebody help you with this. I'll even help you with it. If you need somebody to help you with it, I'll show you what to do. But you have to track your gross margin and you have to track it by client. So why is that so important? This is what's actually been going on for more than a year. The demand for digital marketing services after mid 2020 started going up through the roof. Because everybody's like, holy shit, I got to get my stuff online. I need to listen to Chris. He's been telling me about this stuff forever. Now I don't have an option. I need to figure out how to grow my digital business and I need leads. So the demand for marketing and digital marketing agencies started to go up. Well, that created a higher demand also for talent. And not long after the mid 2020, the demand for talent exceeded the supply. So what typically happens in that case, prices started going up. Salaries for your staff started to go up. Bigger companies started coming in and swooping up and stealing everybody that they could get their hands on. So that person that you were paying $50,000 a year to in January of 2020, now they're getting recruited away from you and they're getting offered $75,000 a year and a $15,000 signing bonus. Okay. So, and maybe some of you guys have already experienced that. Maybe you have experienced that employee churn with these bigger companies that are swooping them up. So as an agency, you have to consider, okay, what are my gross margins now? What happens if everybody that I have on my team, they're all going to leave unless I pay them an additional 20%? How is that going to impact my gross margin? My gross margin first. How much is going to be left over after we have to increase those salaries? Okay, cool. Am I still in business? Like if I increase your production labor salaries by 20%, are you still in business? You have to know the answer to that, like immediately. If you don't know the answer to that, you need to find that answer by the end of the week. Just assume that every team member you have, even the best ones that you think are the most loyal, just assume right now that somebody is trying to recruit them away and offer them 20% more with a signing bonus. So now that you understand that that's happening, what do you have to do? If you can stay in business by giving everybody an additional 20%, fantastic. You don't have a lot to worry about. It makes your life a lot easier, I should say. If you don't have that budget, then you need to create a contingency plan or some sort of plan and figure out how you're going to stay in business. Now, a lot of you guys are going to have to increase your rates. It's just the way that it is. What's challenging about that is that clients are now demanding more for less. So sometimes you won't be able to increase your rates. You might have to change your pitch. You might have to be able to sell more value or demonstrate more value, which will then allow you to raise your rates. That's another thing that you can do. One of the easiest things I think that you could look at is diversifying your team. So what I say is you basically break up your team members into 4 different categories. So you have your problem solvers, the ones who like, if there's a problem, they don't even tell you about it. They just go in and they fix it. Those are the problem solvers who are client facing. That's category 1. You have client facing employees who are not problem solvers. These are the people where you give them a checklist, you give them an SOP, they just stick to the checklist. They're not proactively going out and solving problems. A lot of the times they are just not mentally capable of doing that. They don't have, you're going to hear me use this term over the course of the year. They don't have the mental capacity to do that. It's just the way that they're built. Okay. That's option 2. Those are the second type of employees, not problem solvers, but they're client facing. The third option, third classification, I should say, is you have problem solvers, people who just go out and fix shit for you without even telling you about it, but they are not client facing. And then the fourth category is you have not client facing and also not problem solvers. They just follow the instructions. They don't go above and beyond. They're not mentally capable. They don't have the mental capacity to do anything other than following the checklist. Okay. So those are the 4: client facing problem solvers, client facing non-problem solvers, non-client facing problem solvers, non-client facing non-problem solvers. Classify your production labor into those 4 categories. The first category, problem solvers and client facing, those are your A players. Those are your key players. You want to do everything humanly possible to keep those folks. So if it takes giving them a 20% raise or a 30% raise, you need to have the budget available to retain those people. They're super, super important. Those are your Michael Jordans. The second category, maybe you can look at bringing people on that are overseas, that are remote team, that are less expensive. But if you found somebody who's less expensive, that's going to free up budget to pay the A players. That's what you got to look at. If they're client facing, that's a tricky one. You really have to analyze it and say, can I find this person somewhere else that's not going to compromise on the quality, but it's just going to be a little bit cheaper for me and it's going to free up budget for the A players. The third category, non-client facing problem solvers. That's another one that's a tricky one. That's where you have to analyze person by person and say, can I find somebody remote that's going to be a little bit cheaper and free up budget? If it's an awesome team member, they're non-client facing, and they're a huge problem solver, and they're helping you to generate or retain, hundreds of thousands of dollars, that's totally cool. Keep them. Just make sure that you have the budget so that if they demand 20% more or you need 20% more to keep that person, you have it. The fourth category, non-problem solvers, non-client facing. Those are the ones that you can absolutely and should look at reducing, backfilling with remote team members. So then you're freeing up budget to pay your A players more. Everybody needs to do this. You absolutely have to figure out a way to be able to, not to saying that you have to, but to be able to pay your existing team 20% more without ruining the margin are producing a lower quality product. That's just what you have to do. It's one of the biggest factors available, biggest factors in surviving 2022. That salary increase issue is going to make or break most agencies this year. If you can't keep your people, then you can't deliver. If you can't deliver, then you're going to lose clients and you won't be able to bring on new projects and you're just going to be stuck. And then you're probably not going to be able to grow your revenue and you're probably not going to be able to grow your own income. And eventually you're just going to be like, this shit isn't worth it. I'm fucking out of here. That's what you're looking at if you don't fix this problem. If you do have the budget available, if you do have that extra 20%, then you're going to be able to retain people. You're going to be able to get more clients. You're going to be able to grow your revenue. You're going to grow your profitability. And most likely you're going to also be able to swipe people from other agencies who don't have the budget, who didn't do the hard work. So that is your homework for the week. You have to figure out what are the 4 categories of employees that you have. What happens if I increase my payroll cost by 20% for my production labor? And then what do I have to do to make sure that I still have a healthy margin? And just so that we're clear, a healthy gross margin is anywhere between 60 to 70%. If you're above 70%, fantastic. That includes your time, by the way. So if you're doing half the fulfillment, don't think that your gross margin is amazing because your time doesn't count. No, your time absolutely counts. So figure out those things. Payroll, 20%. Will I still be in business? Okay. Who are the people that I need to keep? Well, who are my A players? Who are the people that I should look at reducing so that I have the ability to pay more if needed? It's the number one thing, guys. It's the number one thing that you need to think about right now in 2022. If you can't solve that problem today, I'm sorry, this might be your last year in business. It's that freaking serious. And I'm not saying that to scare you guys. I'm being completely honest with you. I want you all to survive, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it and blow smoke up your ass. This is the legit issue. And I've talked to many, many experts about this, and we all agree. Those coaches out there, those agency coaches, they're saying the same shit. This is going to be one of the last years for the small agency owner who doesn't know how to run a business. It's it. It's the deadline, guys. And it starts with understanding your gross margin. All right. Hopefully this doesn't scare the shit out of you. But the purpose of this is that I'm giving you some hope and understanding of what you need to work on. And now you can get to work. I believe in you. I know that you can figure these things out. Like I said, if you have any questions, let me know. Reach out to me. And just a little side note, we completely revamped our dude packages. And the financial side of it is something that we're actually helping you with. And we're guaranteeing if you qualify to work with us, that we guarantee that you will increase your agency profitability by at least 30% in the next 12 months, or we give you your money back. There is no other company on the planet that has this kind of guarantee, by the way. But we do this because we know we can get results for the right agency. If you have the right infrastructure already, sky's the limit for you. We'll help you get there. Awesome. All right. Well, more episodes are coming. So I promise it won't be another 4-month delay till you get next week's episode. So make sure that you stay in tune. And like I said, do that subscription thing. And so you get all the alerts and sign up for my email list too. All right, guys, have a wonderful day. We'll be in touch. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, it would mean so much to me if you could share it with your friends, family, and basically anyone who will find the same value in this episode that you did. And to get the latest from me, then let's definitely connect on social media. You can go to Facebook, facebook.com/Dude Agency, or Instagram @dudeagency.io, or you can check us out on YouTube on our YouTube channel. And then, of course, you can always visit our website at dudeagency.io, where you can see all of our other episodes of Operation Agency Freedom. You can also register for any live trainings that we have going on how to run a highly profitable agency. And of course, you can see how we help digital agencies with the people, the processes, and the education so that they can take on more projects and scale profitably. Thanks again, and I will see you next time.